KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global at the headquarters of Frank Warren here. I'm joined by Mr. Frank Warren himself. How are you, Frank?
I'm okay, mate. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, all good. Looking forward to a big weekend in Leeds.
I am. We've got a busy couple of weeks. Got two big shows, and then the lead show for me is going to be, I hope, is going to be a bit of a cracker.
Definitely. I mean, obviously we haven't spoke for a little while, so there's a lot to catch up on.
Yeah.
I want to just go back, obviously, to not last weekend, the weekend before, Wembley, 90,000 people there to watch Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko. What did you make of the event as a whole?
Oh, it was a fantastic occasion. It was great for British boxing, and it showed. Well, I've always known that Anthony Joshua's got plenty of heart and plenty of balls. He showed that when he fought in Azerbaijan in the World Championships, when I think it was 3 rounds behind at the time. There's 1 point in it, and he went out and he went for broke to try and win the fight. And I knew, and I've sort of seen him long before a lot of people, in professional ranks have seen. And I knew then that he was going to, you have no problems with his heart. He's got a big heart, but there's all fighters have got question marks when they're young fighters, and he's got those couple of question marks. They're not question marks for me anymore. He can be hit, he can be hurt. Dylan White hurt him, and the same happened with Klitschko. And he showed tremendous courage and heart and got up. Klitschko, I just don't think, he was swinging wildly with that left hook. And you think if that had been a younger man, more of a live fighter, there might have been a totally different outcome. But Anthony done brilliant. It's great for British boxing. It got it on the front pages across the news, and I mean, we really, for us, it was really good. But at the end of the day, they're fighting for the belts that Tyson Fury vacated. So till any of these guys fight Tyson Fury, they ain't beat the linear champion, because Tyson Fury never lost his belts in the ring.
Just going back to the fight, obviously there was an important round. It was the 6th round where he genuinely looked like he was in trouble. It was difficult to see where he was going to pull that sort of the finish in the end of the 11th round, where that was going to come from. But it did come, so obviously a little bit of credit there.
But for me, again, I was actually surprised, because I was surprised that with Klitschko, because Klitschko's not an offensive fighter; he's a defensive fighter. And when he gets a man in trouble, and I've seen that on numerous, when you see him when he's got a man in trouble, he don't jump on him. He's very measured in what he does. And I think that was the telling point. I think if he'd have jumped on him, maybe it'd have been a different outcome. But the fact of the matter is, he deserved his victory. I mean, it was exciting, but it wasn't Muhammad Ali against Joe Frazier. He's 41 years of age now. Klitschko, and I'm not knocking Anthony. He's done what he had to do, and it was exciting. But please, let's have a bit of, bit of rationale here, and a bit of thing. He's got a way to go. These guys, I can think of fights over the years when you look at like Larry Holmes fighting Mike Weaver, Larry Holmes against Shavers. You can Tim Witherspoon and Larry Holmes. I mean, these guys, they were, great toe-to-toe fights, but they were in their prime. Both of them were in their prime. So. Anyway, he's done well, Anthony. He's set himself up, and he's done British boxing proud, and I'm delighted that that he got the victory. And hopefully now, if Tyson gets over his case, which is going on at the moment, if he gets his license back, it'll set a big fight up for next year. Because in the meantime, Tyson, when he does get his license back, will be boxing on BT, and then we're going to create a market for this fight, a bigger market than it is.
And 90,000 fans going to a boxing fight is good for British boxing.
Of course it is. It's fantastic. I mean, unbelievably fantastic. That's what I'm not a green-eyed monster. I'm watching that. That for me is what is great for our business, great for our game. All those sports editors who don't give a monkeys, and there's a lot of them don't care about boxing, had to care about boxing, had to write about it. It's it gripped the nation, and that is fantastic for our sport. Now, even since then, they're talking about youngsters coming through names. I mean, the Sun, by the way, don't even mention our fighters. I mean, that cross ownership of Sun and Sky. How can you not mention any of our fighters? And you're talking about the best fighters out there when 2 of them have fought. One of them's fought for a world title 3 times and hasn't won it. Then you got Eubanks in there, Junior. over Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, Billy Joe Saunders beat him, and he refused to fight Billy Joe Saunders. So that I find a bit galling. But anyway, it is what it is, and we move on. We've got some good young fighters there, and Leeds is going to be a great show. And the only thing is, you can't go. You've been barred.
Why?
Kiko Martin, as his manager, says he don't want you in there. So what can I do?
Surely this ain't you.
What can I do? I can't do that. Kiko Martin, I don't want to fall out with him over you, do I? I mean, his friendship is much more valuable to me than Kiko Martin as his manager. What am I going to do?
You're going to kick a man when he's down, Frank. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not kicking you, mate. Don't worry. It's on BT and on
nice.
On BoxNation. You'll be able to watch it.
Thanks, Frank. This is the know where I'll stand anyway. Thank you very much,
You will be standing. You'll be looking over the top of that fence watching
it. So, Frank, obviously, the night in question, have you ever been booed, actually, by 90,000 people?
Thankfully, no, I don't think. But I mean,
have you ever been booed, like after a fight?
I've got to be honest, I don't recollect. But then again, I'm not in the StubHub business, am I? That's what that's about, isn't it? That people are not stupid. That's what that's all about. You've got StubHub sponsoring you. What do you expect?
We know Tyson Fury obviously has been out in Marbella in camp. We've seen countless videos, but aside from the videos, we know that he's shedding the weight, and he's the early steps of obviously.
Well, him and I have been in contact over the last few weeks, and he's definitely got a bit in between his teeth. And I just hope that and he should come through this hearing. Certainly, as far as the Nandrolling charges, I think that I don't see how they can sustain that charge against him or Hughie. And then obviously it's about him refusing to take the test. But at that time, as we all know, all are aware that he had a lot of problems outside the ring mentally, and he wasn't feeling right himself. There's a lot of sympathy going on at the moment for footballers who are having similar problems. So let's give some to Tyson. When I say he needs boxing, he does need boxing. It gives him a sense of purpose, and he's except for he makes a couple of little, I would say bad taste comments, but 99% of the time he's fantastic fun. He's funny, and I think the game needs him, and certainly Britain needs that fight. The world of boxing needs to see him in the ring with Joshua.
That's the biggest fight that can happen in British boxing at the moment.
So I think it's big. I think, even the Yanks, everybody will, which is the second biggest market, they'll all be up for it. They'll all be into it, And remember, Tyson Fury done a job on Klitschko. I mean, done a job on him. He never lost a round against him, did he? I mean, and he done it in the other guy's backyard, and he done it when he was 26 years of age, nearly 2 years ago. So. It's a great fight, and it's the one we want to see. We all want to see it, and everybody's going to have an opinion. I think Tyson wins it. People got, other people think that Anthony wins it. But that's what makes it such a good fight. If Anthony catches him on the chin, he may knock him over. We know he's been on the floor, but he got up. He's got a good chin, but he's a better boxer in my opinion. Much better boxer, and he's a smart boxer, very smart.
So just to let people know, obviously the time now is around 4 o'clock on Monday the 8th, is it, today? The 8th. As far as you know, has there been any sort of movement with this Tyson Fury thing today?
I believe, unless they throw it out, it's going to take a few days. Then you're not going to get. I don't think you're going to get any decision today, that's for sure, or even tomorrow. And apparently I've got to go and give us some evidence as well, so we don't even know what date that's going to be yet. So I'm waiting to hear about it. But no, he's there, and it's a process they're going through. But people got to remember as well, when this Nandrolling thing relates to 2015, February and March 2015. One for Hughie and obviously one for...
Before he fought Klitschko.
Before he fought Klitschko, and also with Hughie. And I think Hughie's had about 5 fights since. So they never banned them. They never suspended them. They were allowed to fight. And Hughie, as you know, was going to fight last weekend against Parker before he got his back injury. And Tyson was going to fight last October against Klitschko before he had his problems. So they weren't banned for it. Neither of them were being banned for that, and that, and it wasn't huge amounts. And it's nonsense that their defence is that they ate contaminated meat. Has never been the case. They'd never mentioned anything about eating contaminated meat. They've had a diet, and they met, and after that, that came out in 2015, had a meeting with the Ukad people in September 2015, which the Boxing Board of Control were aware of, and they allowed them to fight on. And the Boxing Board of Control thought it was a dead issue. So, you know, and all these leaks that are being made by UKAD all the way through here, you know, it's not right. It's absolutely not right. So they need, whatever happens after this, after the hearing, you know, win, lose or draw, we're going to be asking for an investigation into UKAD and who is making these leaks, because it's wrong information, and it's been in lots of the newspapers, and a lot of, you know, quite senior journalists have been misrepresenting and misreporting what the case is, and obviously that'll be dealt with in due course.
Have you been given any indication, or how do you anticipate this sort of the conclusion of this trial for Tyson?
They're very common. My thing about it regarding the Nandrolin is because I don't see how they can ban them. How can they ban them? They let them fight. If you've done something wrong, if you've been taking something, you've done that into all intents and purposes, to get an advantage over a fighter. So if you let fighters fight after you feel they've done something wrong, then you're conspiring with them against their opponents. Because you really shouldn't be allowed to fight. If you're done, you can't fight. They allowed them to fight. And I think they've got a problem there of explaining why they allowed them to fight, and, you know, how much these, you know, how much over the limit it was. And from what I understand, it was you know, very minimal. Nassim Hadid it happened to Nassim Hadid many years ago. It was the same thing, and it all was went by the wayside.
Just going back to Hughie Fury, obviously we saw Joseph Parker retain his world title against KUGAN in New Zealand last weekend. What is the situation regarding Hughie Fury? He's mandatory.
Well, first of all, they had a right result, because if Hughie Fury had fought, he'd have won that fight, in my opinion. Hughie Fury is the mandatory challenger. There's two things can happen. One, they either stand by their purse bid, or if they're saying no, they don't want to, then we've got 30 days to negotiate, and then it will go back out to purse bids again. There'll be no other fights in between. They will fight Hughie Fury, and that is the bottom line of it. So don't care about. I mean, Sky misled everybody in that. You see the commentary. All they kept talking about is Bellew and this and that. They are misleading people. That is not what is the position. The WBO, in fact, are writing to everybody saying that. So I understand from my conversations sometime today. So that is a fact. That's where we are. And Duco Promotions, who look after. I mean, they are a total. You know, all this information they keep putting out to everybody about we're difficult to work with. This is, you know, they want a purse bid. All the nonsense. They came over here, tried to, you know, get us to put the fight on over here. Because obviously they bid a lot of money for it, and it wasn't financially going to work out for them. You know, they are a nightmare. They are a nightmare. They're a bunch of amateurs, and what I want is to just get this fight on ASAP. So does Peter Fury, Hughie's father. We want to get it on and just get that title. He can win that title, and it's going to be an intriguing situation then, because the mandatory challenger will be Tyson if he gets cleared.
That will present an interesting situation. Yeah. Where will the fight happen, Frank?
Well, if they decide they want to keep their winning purse bid, then that's their decision. They said it was New Zealand, so that's where it should be. If they say no, it goes back out to purse bids. That'll be determined by whoever wins that purse bid.
And when is that purse bid set for? Could it be?
We got 30 days to negotiate. Then it's purse bid, and then it'll go on by the end of July.
Is there a situation where you could negotiate to have that fight here, or?
Well, yeah, we've got 30 days negotiation.
And how's that going so far?
Well, we haven't negotiated yet. But we will do, and just want to get this out of the way this week, and we'll just get on with it. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We put fights on. We're in the business of putting fights and working with people. You know, they're gutted. They don't want to fight Hughie Fury. They do. They move heaven and earth not to fight Hughie. Heaven and earth. But they got to fight.
Well, whatever people can say what they want about the heavyweight division, it's being talked about regardless.
Well, it's lively, isn't it?
It's
lively,
yeah.
And it's it's gone from the doldrum. And let's get it right. The fighter, the heavyweight champion, who dragged it down, although he was, he's articulate and he looks the part, and they were all, both him and Anthony when they were Anthony Joshua, it was commendable. They behaved like gentlemen and whatever. But the fighter, the heavyweight champion who dragged down the heavyweight division, was Klitschko, because he was so boring. He was in a lot of boring fights. He owed an exciting fight. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sincerely mean that. How many exciting fights you've seen him in? And now it's lively because these guys, these Brits, they want to fight each other. They're not ducking each other. They want to fight. Look where we are now. We've got a real scenario going here. You've got the two Furies. You've got Anthony Joshua, and you've got a couple of other youngsters coming through who in probably 12 months, 18 months' time, they're going to be up there with them. I think it's marvellous. I mean, we are the best. Our heavyweights are the best in the world. No doubt about that. And I include Deontay Wilder.
All right, Frank. Well, listen, everyone can join us for tomorrow for part 2 of KUGAN and Frank show. What is this? KUGAN and Frank's
Little and
Loose
large.
Chat. Thank you very much, Frank Warren.